Hello everyone, I'm Tony Hembry and welcome to In God We Trust. On today's show, we will analyze the debt crisis in Greece. Then stick around and I will tell you how you can get a copy of the book God's ATM by the late Ron Hembry. While Greece's first openly atheist prime minister, Alexis Tsipras, urged the citizens to vote no in a referendum for more bailout money from international creditors, leaders of the Orthodox Church encouraged a strong yes vote to the creditors' proposal. Since 2010, Greece has received more than $264 billion in bailout money, with the condition that Greece would implement deep budget cuts and reform. What has resulted is harsh austerity, higher taxes, and increased unemployment. The vote comes on the heels of Greece's failure to make a payment to the IMF and other creditors for $3.9 billion by July 20th. The referendum resulted in a majority no, to which Prime Minister Tsipras called a victory of democracy and a bright day in the history of Europe. The Greek Orthodox Church feels otherwise. Now, according to Dr. Elizabeth Prodromou, professor of law and diplomacy at Tufts University, the principles of nationalism and altruism account for the Church's opposition to the no vote. She says the Church could result in Greece's exit from Europe and could worsen the humanitarian crisis. And while there is separation of church and state, the Church and government have always had a unique relationship. The Greek Orthodox Church Diocese of America warns that severing the connection between church and state would strip the Orthodox Church of its constitutionally guaranteed role as the prevailing religion in Greece, end state payroll arrangements for clergy, remove prayer and confession from state schools, and end all tax exemptions for religious institutions. Until the recent election of the left-wing atheist Prime Minister Tsipras, the prime ministers have always aligned their views with the Greek Orthodox Church. By voting yes, this guarantees that the Church will remain at the center of state affairs. And while a no vote does not necessarily mean that the Church is out of the picture, it is a good indication of the social climate in Greece, as further illustrated here.
People are very confused.
No one can promise Greeks that things are going to get better fast.
The situation is very difficult.
You're saying now you will not pay. There is not the money in Greece.
Exactly. It's very painful for the Greek people, and it can have a significant effect on growth rates in Europe.
It has become, therefore, a vote basically of a yes or no to being in the Eurozone.
I believe that there is no solution within the Eurozone and within this European Union. I'm sure about this.
Hopefully next Sunday we are going to vote yes, because we want to remain in the European Union. That's where we belong.
I came here to say no because I'm until here and I cannot leave.
I believe that Europe is incomplete without Greece. And I think that all Greeks are going to be thinking, pondering about this decision.
We have a government, and we want this Greek government to make the decision, not the people of Eurogroup.
Greek people, the majority believes in the euro and it believes in the Eurozone.
No, no, no.
With 62% of the citizens voting no, along with the radical prime minister, there is a shift in ideology happening. I'm not saying that the country is going to revolt today, but revolution seems to be on the horizon. For example, prior to the French Revolution of 1789, a financial crisis drove France into an economic, political, and social tailspin. The country was in serious financial upheaval from several military campaigns and maintaining the newly conquered territories of North America, the frivolous spending habits of the nobility, the extravagant upkeep of the palace at Versailles, and the heavy taxation of the peasants that paid for the indulgences of the elitist government. Then, in 1786, to avoid increasing taxes in a peasant revolt, the government appealed to several European banks for a loan, but was denied for reasons of credibility. The final nail in the coffin of the French monarchy was the Enlightenment movement, which held a secular view of government and contempt for the concept of the divine right of kings. In short, financial crises result from greed and a lack of accountability, and together will always bring ruin. Proverbs 22:16 says, "Whoever oppresses the poor to increase his own wealth or gives to the rich will only come to poverty." So what should Greece do to avoid a financial collapse? Well, in the words of Charles Alexander de Calonne, the French statesman and advisor to Louis XVI, "I shall easily show that it is impossible to tax further, ruinous to be always borrowing, and not enough to confine ourselves to measures of economy." In other words, stop increasing taxes. It is impossible to retrieve water from a dry well. I believe that the only way to stop the bleeding is to cut taxes, cut government spending, and restrict entitlement programs. Well, what do you think? I invite you to weigh in on this matter. Feel free to leave us a comment at info@thestreamtv.com. What concerns or insights do you have? How does this affect us as Christ followers? We would love to hear from you, and we'll share your thoughts on a special edition of this show. Again, please send your comments to info@thestreamtv.com. Thank you for joining me today, and if you would like to help Quick Study and Bible Discovery TV with our mission to spread the gospel, we have a special way for you to do that. If you make a donation of $15 or more, we will send you a copy of the book God's ATM by Ron Hembry, which explains the faithfulness of God and his concept of prosperity in difficult times. When you give online at BibleDiscoveryTV.com, click the Donate tab and please type God's ATM in the description box on the online form. Until next time, let us fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. And that is our God in whom we can trust. We'll see you then.